Well, the midterm elections may be 3 months away, but President Trump's already campaigning on the road and on Twitter. Here's what he tweeted this morning. Maybe you saw it. He wrote, great financial numbers being announced on an almost daily basis. Economy has never been better. Jobs at the best point in history. Fixing our terrible trade deals is a priority and going very well. Immigration on merit-based system to take care of the companies coming back to USA. Will a strong economy hurt Democrats this fall as we head toward the midterm elections? With us is one of those up for re-election, as they all are in the House, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, who represents my neighborhood in northern New Jersey. Congressman, good to see you. I won't talk about
thanks for having me.
Potholes or anything like that.
We'll fix them.
We can have that discussion later. Does a good economy work against the Democrats trying to get into office this time around?
Well, I'll speak for me. I'm a pro-growth Democrat. Just got the support of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I'm for lower taxes and less unnecessary regulation. So I'm all in on making sure we have a strong economy, and I think there's lots we can do. You know, I'll tell you, in New Jersey, what we're hearing a lot of, or one from a lot of businesses, about tariffs. And I've got a lot of panicked CEOs and calling me and saying, what are we going to do here? It's a tax on people. Because they have to pass this on to the consumers, and they're worried about their jobs. I was with a farmer last week, so they're worried about that. And the state and local tax deduction, which they're waiting for.
That's going to come up.
As you know,
that's what I want.
They haven't felt it just yet, but we know property values are down, and we know there's a lot of pressure, and people are panicked about this, and we're losing jobs already because of it.
Is there any solution there on the state and local tax deduction that you can foresee?
A workaround or anything?
Well, this is something I know I've been on the show talking about, which I think is critical. We have introduced and passed in New Jersey a charitable tax deduction where towns can set up these funds, charitable funds for law enforcement or parks. You can give a contribution to your town. Your town it's a tax deductible contribution. You can take it federally, even if you use the AMT, go around the AMT. And they can give it to you as a deduction on your property taxes. The town can. In New Jersey, up to 90%. This is a law we just signed in the state. We're going to, of course, have a big fight with the Treasury about this.
There's going to be a big fight in the courts over this, right?
Totally, but here's the problem, and all the analysis shows this, including all the top legal scholars. 33 other states, mostly red states, have been utilizing this provision for decades now. So Treasury's going to fight it. It's going to go to court. I've talked to them about it already. We all know it's going to court, and we're prepared to fight, Jersey style, and win this thing.
So you're up for election again, and of course you are looking for support from anywhere and anyone that's in your district that you can get it from, and understand a lot of businesses and organizations that previously leaned right, leaned red, are moving towards Democrats, and some of them, in your case, towards your direction.
Primarily the middle.
Yeah. And
yes.
What's
the pro-business Democrats,
yes.
right? I mean, right? And
so what's going on there? What does that mean to you?
Well, so one of the things one of the reasons I'm focused on fiscal responsibility and making sure that we do everything possible for job growth and also wage growth is I think there's a huge opportunity for Democrats like me all across the country. And when we win the House, it's going to be through districts like mine, right? Centrist districts, people like me who are willing to work with Democrats and Republicans. I had a Republican colleague of mine in the district last week. We were talking about anti-terror legislation that we're focused on. I think the future of the party is in the middle, willing to work with both sides.
But come on, I mean, this is not to ignore the extremes that have been built on both sides that exist to a great degree in this country right now. I mean,
of course, and it makes for great cable TV, and there's a lot of noise.
And it goes to the polls too at the same time. So you guys are the moderates on both sides, Republican and Democrat. There's almost a vacuum there for you guys.
Yes, not for TV, right? Of course, on cable news and on social media, but actually, when you look at the numbers, where the majority of the country is in the middle, slightly left, slightly right. And I believe that's where the future is. It's not as exciting. I get it, right? People don't go rally and protest around working together and getting things done on infrastructure and lowering taxes.
But do they vote?
Right? They vote. I mean, I think in this district, what I'm seeing is the people who come up to me, they talk about the fact that I co-chair the Problem Solvers Caucus and that we actually sit around the table and try to talk to each other and find solutions that are maybe 80%, but not insist on everything. I don't believe either party succeeds from the extremes, and I believe the future goes through the middle.
Thinking for 2020, who's the moderate that could come out of your party and address that large cohort of people that you were just talking about? Because the people that we hear about as the putative frontrunners, the Elizabeth Warrens, the Bernie Sanders, and others, don't come from that.
Well, obviously, a lot of people are playing to their base right now and playing for the primary, and we'll see. There's a lot of people who are running or thinking about running, and And I'm eager to hear from them. You know, we'll see what happens in the end. You know, Michael Bloomberg was in the office in D.C. and met with our Problem Solvers Caucus a few weeks ago, and we were talking about how we really believe there's a space in the middle for candidates, and I think we'll see in the months ahead. But I'm focused on winning in 2018 and getting the House back right now, and that's where my focus
How many
is.
hours a day do you spend on the phone or in other things that are directly related to fundraising? How many hours a day?
Too many hours a day. You know, I mean,
Average.
it varies by
2,
day.
3?
Probably on the phone 2 hours a day.
2 hours a day.
2 hours
Just
a day.
all the time.
And you're not alone either.
No,
everybody
everybody does it, you know, and one of the things I'd love to see change at the Supreme Court is the fact that, like, allowing us not to be doing that. And we all want campaign finance reform. I mean, I don't talk to a member who says, like, I can't stand having to do that, right? It just means you're up 20 hours a day doing the other stuff you got to do. And, you know, just work hard. But it is what the system is right now. And until we figure out legislation a lot of us support to get around, to make sure we get around having to do that, then we are stuck with the system we've got.
At the extremes, immigration and tariffs and, you know, all those issues are the ones that are getting all the attention. What is the platform you guys can work on in the middle there that's going to get you elected or reelected?
Well, I'll tell you what I talk about, right? And a lot of the people who are running, who are pro-business moderates who are running, I talk to them all the time. We talk about things that are pro-growth, right? Making sure that there's job training for the future in the tech world. And I came from Microsoft, right? Making sure those jobs of the future, people have the skills that they need, making sure our community colleges and our schools are prepared, and a lot of public-private work together to get that done. So we talk about lower taxes and making sure that we have we keep things affordable for people. It means in New Jersey making things affordable, and that's dealing with SALT and making sure we can really have a place that has infrastructure. People want to, right, trains, the streets being paved, and actually the potholes you're talking about, right? No one wants to deal with that. They want to be able to get to work, and I want to get them home to their families, and that's really important. And they want us to work together. And I think the more we talk about, and I'm telling you, I hear this all the time from candidates, the fact that there are people like us who don't want to go to Washington to scream, but to actually solve problems is what people really want to hear at the end of the day. I know it doesn't sell cable news the same way, and it's not as
Don't
right.
pick on us now.
The
Come
center's
on.
not as sexy. I get it, but I'll tell you, that's what people want in this country.
I know what you're saying.